Alright, so I am going to make a quick video on how I make my own pre-wired LEDs. I use these a lot in workshops, and yes, you can buy them. This is one of the examples of ones that you can buy, but they're a bit pricey, so I decided that instead of buying another set online, that I would just make use of all of the extra wire and LEDs that I have lying around. So if you want to make these, some things that you'll need, you can either use old wire that you have stripped from other electronics. You'll see this one, though, it's kind of fans out, and for what I'm doing is we're going to be putting these in Play-Doh, so this isn't the best kind. So if you can find solid core, which is very similar to the ones that come when you buy the pre-wired LEDs. The easiest way to do that, though, is if you get telephone wire. You'll get the this is the 4-core, I bought it online from Radio Shack, rest in peace. But anyway, what's neat about this is if you look inside, there are actually 4 individual wires, and that's what we are going to use. So what I've done is I have cut a strip of about 5 or 6 inches, and what we're going to do is we're going to take out 2 of the wires. So you'll grab your wire cutters, and we're going to use the largest. And right now you have to be very careful because you want to cut the outer side. You don't want to cut any of the wires inside. I'm just kind of lightly squeezing and rotating it around. So you'll see I didn't even cut through the entire way, and now I'm just gonna kind of twist it. Alright, and I'm gonna wiggle these wires out, and you'll see here I have 4 wires. So I am going to take out the red and the black ones, since all of my other wires are red and black, and it will be helpful when I am telling the participants to use the red wire or the black wire. It'll just help with labeling things. So you see I have 2 of my wires here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to strip off about a ½ an inch from both ends of these wires. And you can see here, I pulled some of that through. You'll see here this is the solid core, so we'll just trim that down a little bit. And we'll do the same with the red. I'm so bad at this. Alright, so now we have our wires. So now you're going to want to grab an LED. And I had a lot of these. I like the shorter LEDs for this, just a personal preference. And make sure that you are lining up your black wire with your the long side of your LED. And because this is solid core, it is a bit harder to wrap around. So what I do is I take the top of my wire cutters and I hold it close to the leg that I'm trying to wrap it around. And I squeeze that tight, and then I just wrap this around in a circle. Alright, let's see here. It's a bit tricky. So that's the one downside of working with the solid core as opposed to the regular wire that you can scrap from things. Then I'm going to grab a small piece of electrical tape that I had already cut up, and you're going to wrap that around. And make sure you wrap it around just that leg. Alright, and now you're going to do the same thing. So you'll see we have one of them done. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other leg with your black wire. Get your tape and wrap that around. Also, just remember that not all LEDs are created equally, and that some will require more voltage to it to power it. So depending on what type of battery you're planning on using, for this project I'm going to be using a 9-volt battery, and I am also going to be using Play-Doh, as I mentioned, and the Play-Doh acts as a resistor. So I need to make sure that not only will the battery light up my light, but if it will travel through that resistance. So what I would suggest doing is set up a little kind of testing station, which is what I have right here, and make sure that you test that your light, the power will actually flow through. So I'm just shoving mine in here, and you can see we have light. Perfect. So last thing I'm going to do here is, because I just don't want these wires to accidentally cross at all, is I'm going to take my roll of electrical tape, and I am going to do a wrap around it. But where you're going to do is you're going to start with the tape in the center of the two legs. So you'll see I just kind of threaded it through there, and now you can wrap it around. I have exposed the entire LED, but you'll notice on the ones that I pre-purchased, they kind of cut off the bottom of it. I don't see any reason why you need to do that, as long as your leads are covered up. So I'm just wrapping this around and just cut this off. Alright, so there you have, now you have a pre-wired LED that you can use in projects. Much cheaper than the ones that you can buy, but pretty much the same thing. So, thank you guys for watching.